Ichimon Japan is made possible in part by Patreon. If you would like to make sure that we can keep bringing you more content like this, then head on over to japankyo.com/Patreon and sign up for as little as $1 a month. Also, just a quick announcement before we get into the show. Kimito Designs, my new online shop/brand, is up and running, and you can go check it out at kimitodesigns.com. That is KIMITO designs.com. For Japankyo podcast listeners, I am giving you a special grand opening discount of 10% off in addition to the already there 10% discount for any purchase of over $25. So the discount code is opening 10. So if you put that in when you check out, then you're going to get an extra 10% off. Go check out the t-shirt designs and the other stuff that I may have there. I should have at least one face mask up by the time you're listening to this. So go check it out. And if you like anything, then why not purchase it? That will, in its own indirect way, support everything I'm doing here as well. Again, kimitodesigns.com. One time during a school trip, one of their classmates wore a bra that was not white, didn't say what color, but somehow the teacher noticed.
Neon green.
It had LED lights. Yeah. That's how they noticed. Welcome to Ichimon Japan. I'm Tony.
And I'm Ryan.
All right. So today we're doing I guess this is going to end up being a kind of mini episode. It's kind of a follow-up to the school rules episode, which I believe is episode 23. Yes, 23. It is 23. So, but you don't have to listen to it to understand in this one, but
you should listen to it because it's a good episode.
It is. And Miyuki is in that one. And
I was tempted to say, and I'm Miyuki at the beginning, but then I
didn't. and for any fans of Miyuki, she is coming back for several more episodes in the coming months. So look forward to that. But yeah, so Ichimon means one question, and every episode we ask a question about Japan. Today's question is, why do students in Hamamatsu City have to wear white underwear?
That is a better way to phrase it, because I thought you were going to say, why do students wear white underwear? And I was like, why do you know that, Tony?
Well, I will I will just avoid that question and move on. But okay, so like I said, this is just a short little story that popped up. Basically, I found out about this after we had already recorded that episode, but it happened, or at least news about this kind of seems to have broken or become more prominent right after we recorded. So I thought it was interesting, so just wanted to talk about it briefly. But I'll start with a somewhat related thing and then move into the actual story about Hamamatsu City. But in June, there was a radio show hosted by, what's her name? Minami Takahashi. She's a former AKB48 singer, idol, whatever. And I'm not sure what the show usually is about, but on that specific episode in June, they were talking about questionable school rules. So it seems like people were calling in, or maybe they had sent like emails or something, but the article that I read about this just wasn't specific, but people were sending in their questionable school rules. And there were plenty, like some that were very similar to the kind of stuff that we covered in the previous episode, in episode 23. Just for example, at an all-girls school, all the girls had to tell their teachers if they were dating someone, if they had a boyfriend, right? And
did they wear helmets?
The article did mention if that one came up, but
no dating without a helmet.
You have to tell your teacher if your boyfriend is not wearing a helmet.
If I actually was a principal, I would put some really dumb rules in like that just for fun.
But like dumb rules that don't like really hurt anyone or make anybody feel bad, but rather just confuse people.
Yeah. Like no dating without a helmet.
Oh goodness. All right. So, but the one that stood out and is connected to the larger story that we're going to talk about is this one person contacted them, maybe called in and explained that at their school it was prohibited for students to wear underwear that was not white. All right. And I'm pretty sure this was a junior high. And they added that one time during a school trip, one of their classmates wore a bra that was not white, didn't say what color, but somehow the teacher noticed.
Neon green.
It had LED lights.
Yeah.
That's how they noticed. And the teacher noticed, and the phrasing here is very ambiguous. The result is that the classmate was not ended up not wearing a bra for the rest of the trip.
Because that's an improvement.
Yeah, right. So the quote that is given of the person that shared this story didn't say that they were forced not to wear a bra, but then in the next paragraph, it heavily implies that they were forced not to wear the bra, right? So, or basically wear no bra. So I don't know exactly if it was force or not, or how how it was, but the result is that there was enough pressure there on the student that they felt like they had to not wear a bra for the rest of the trip. And I don't know where they were or how long the trip was, but that's certainly uncomfortable for the student, unfortunately. So this was in June, but I had actually heard about something similar around August. And so I began looking for that article because I hadn't properly read it, and that turned out to be really interesting. So there was an article that was published in August about schools in Hamamatsu City, and I'll just try to summarize it in a kind of brief way because there's multiple aspects to this story. But a like a committee, it was called like a transgender-kai. So it's like a committee. It seems like it's for rights and protecting transgender individuals and issues related to their lives. And one thing that happened was there was a student that was born male, and this wasn't explicit, but it seems implied that they did not feel that they were male, that they were actually female. And so they had like concerns about like the gakuran, the male school uniform, right? That kind of like pants and jacket kind of style. And so I guess they consulted the transgender-kai, and they ended up doing like an investigation about all the various school rules and asking like, why is this rule this way? And trying to get answers. And that led to what we're talking about, right? The white underwear thing. So apparently most of the junior high schools in Hamamatsu City require students to wear only, well, no, that sounds weird. I was about to say wear only white underwear, but that makes it sound like they don't wear clothes on top of the underwear.
Have you been there? Maybe that's how they go.
I have never been to Hamamatsu.
Me neither.
I've been to a lot of places in Japan, but not Hamamatsu. So maybe that's normal. No. So yeah, they can only wear white underwear under their clothes. So the investigation into this led to, and this is both on the part of the news outlet that wrote this up, and it seems like the transgender-kai person, but we got kind of some answers. And one explanation by I believe it was people involved like selling the uniforms. They were explaining that most of the schools in Hamamatsu have the students go to school in standard school uniforms. So this might be like the blazer, skirt / pants.
You mean the blazer?
Kind of style. Yeah. Something like that, right? The kind of thing that you see in anime, like just a standard uniform. But when they get to school, they're required to change out of the uniform into what they call taisofuku or jaji, which are basically like what do they call those? Like tracksuits, right? Like yeah. I guess they call them tracksuits in English, right? Like the loose kind of sweatpants with like a loose kind of running jacket, like you might see on like somebody working out at the gym, right?
Okay.
And this is what you often see especially in the winter. Like this is kind of the default gym clothes, right? Uh, so
Is this for their gym class, or do they just do this always?
no, it's kind of like how some schools make you wear indoor shoes.
So they
It's
have
like this
indoor
is your
uniforms and outdoor uniforms.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So just for the record, I've taught at like, I don't even know, like 9 public schools in Japan since I've been here.
Yeah.
None have done that.
Yeah, this is, I think, fairly rare. I've never heard of this either. I've taught at 3 schools in Japan, and I knew plenty of other people across Kobe and Osaka. Never heard of this.
The closest we have is sometimes on like heavy rain days, if their normal uniform gets drenched, they're allowed to switch to their gym clothes for the rest of the day. But that's only like super bad weather things.
Yeah, I mean, that makes total sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they just changed their indoor clothes. I mean, it's comfortable. So I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's probably an improvement for them, except for the underwear problem.
And you know what? Interestingly, from this whole kind of like gender standpoint, that uniform is actually, I've never seen them different for like boys and girls. They're always the same as far as I've seen. So that is interesting. It's an interesting point. But anyway,
they never thought, hey, let's just get rid of the outdoor uniform and have only the indoor uniform.
Yeah, it's anyway, we'll get into this in a bit, but like why things don't change. There's a couple of reasons offered, but apparently these indoor like tracksuit style uniforms are white. So the concern is that if you wear for example, a dark color bra, underwear, that it's going to be seen through the white indoor tracksuit, right? Because it's all white. So then if it's black, then you're going to see through it. And then of course, I saw like 2 people quoted explaining this, but one of the reasons is then boys can't concentrate. We talked about this in the other episode, but always like bringing up the fact that these boys are out of control and they can't concentrate on their studies because they're looking at the girls.
I gotta point out, this is like junior high boys, so
yeah.
Younger than the age you'd really think that would be an issue. And second, their solution to the black bra apparently was no bra. As if that's less distracting. In
the defense of Hamamatsu, we don't know if that specific incident happened in Hamamatsu.
Oh, okay, that was different.
2 articles, 2 separate articles, but it's certainly possible. And then one other thing that I was thinking about, like related to what you said, was like there's plenty of situations where you're going to be working in a situation where maybe you're a little bit distracted by an attractive person of the same sex or the other sex. And, maybe you're a lifeguard on a beach. And what are you going to say? Like, let's prohibit bikinis or something like
only tuxedos on the beach.
Yes. All women must wear tuxedos. All boys helmets. That's how we fix these problems.
The helmet is so we can tell them apart. Yeah, that's important in Japan.
Yeah. Exactly. Anyway, so this person related
oddly,
to
it's
like
a pink helmet that says boy.
Exactly. Yeah. So the article also talked to a teacher that had been there in Hamamatsu for like 30 years or something. It was a male teacher, and he explained that this is a thing. It's just what it is. And he also mentioned like, the boys, they kind of get distracted. It's going to be see-through, and also it's for keeping everybody the equal and not having this kind of like superiority sort of thing by like having fancy socks or fancy underwear or something, like you show off.
Because people show off their wealth by their fancy socks.
Yeah. I have these gold-plated socks on. And so remember that the point of this investigation was to figure out like, okay, what rules are on the record and is there a justification for these rules? If there's not a justification, then maybe they can just get rid of them. And so they try to figure out like, is this the article though, I guess the writer asks like, so like, is this a rule that you guys are like purposely keeping on the books? And the teacher basically explains like, no, it's just kind of there. Like we haven't made an active effort to keep it, but generally when we have meetings to like review rules or to implement rules, we don't really focus on the old rules. We just focus on like what rules we have to add. So it's like this never ended like thing, you know?
I mean, that makes sense. I think it's the attitude my school has too.
Yeah. So, like he mentioned like cell phones or something like that, like having to add those new rules, but they just don't really bother. And then he added like, nowadays in this sort of day and age, like you just don't have, it's just not possible to have teachers pointing out to female students like, hey, your underwear is like, we can see it through your shirt or whatever. Like it's not possible in a sort of like societal norm sort of way, right? Like they would feel uncomfortable doing that, which again raises the issue is like, okay, well, so is it even being enforced? Like, is there a point to all this? Like, I don't know. Again, same kind of conclusions that we had in the other episode, but the article ends with like talking to somebody related to somebody in charge at the Board of Education, and they were saying, yeah, like there's some things that we have to review and look at whether there's a need for these rules. There's an increased amount of like foreign students as well, and blah blah blah. Basically, a kind of non-committal answer that seems to allude to the fact that they'll look into it. And then the last sentence in the article says, the ultimate decision on this sort of issue lies in each school's principal. So,
does it? I feel like, because like my school, I've talked to many teachers, and there's lots of rules the teachers are unhappy with that similar to this.
Yeah.
But everyone has the attitude that like they don't know how to get rid of the rules. So I didn't know if the principal actually had the final authority if it was someone like the Board of Education.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's weird, right? Because you'd figure that maybe it's just a badly phrased sentence that the article used, but you'd figure that there are some basic essential rules that are maybe really broad that are across all schools. But then these like really weird ones are the ones that each school just ends up adding and adding and adding. But because is it really the case that every single school can do whatever the heck they want with each rule? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I do think if our principal says like no X, we would stop people from doing X, but that wouldn't be like an official, like in the school charter rule. It would be something we just did then.
Yeah. So, so as far as I can tell, because that article was in August and it didn't say that the rule had been changed. If you know a junior high school in Shizuoka Hamamatsu for whatever reason, be assured that they're probably wearing white underwear. Rest easy. Oh goodness.
Or so, apparently no underwear.
Yeah, maybe it's also possible that when they break the rules they end up with no underwear, because that's better than like black underwear.
To the best of my knowledge, my school does not have rules dictating underwear color.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to look into it because I feel like I might find something, but
yeah.
If I do, I hope something weird, like only bright green.
Yeah, like
it's not even a school color or anything.
That would be pretty fun. I think, hey, bright green underwear, like there's nothing wrong with that, right? It's good. Everybody nice and neon green, and then it's kind of like gets you going in the morning, right? When you open your underwear drawer. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like
bright.
It's like an boring underwear drawer of Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that was basically it. I thought it was interesting, and since it kind of came up after we recorded, I just wanted to add that. And anything else you want to add on this topic? Otherwise, we can just close it out.
Mainly, I just really hope they overhaul the whole rule system, because there is so many pointless rules.
Yeah. And I think that I haven't done some sort of numerical quantitative study here, but I just get the feeling from what I've seen and the research that I've done for these topics, these episodes that we've done, it seems like more and more people are becoming more vocal about this sort of thing. On the other hand, though, that article in August mentioned a few people that said like, no, it's better to have it strict. I don't want students to be overly concerned with having to show off and like do things like papakatsu, which is like compensated dating, in order to buy things so that they can use at school. So
who's trying to show off their underwear you can't see?
I don't know if they were specifically referring to underwear or just some kind of bigger thing, maybe makeup or accessories or something like that, right? But there is a segment that wants things very strict. And I mean, that's not
Yeah.
surprising because, you always get all kinds of people. And find enough
I will
people,
point out again, I haven't talked to everyone, but overwhelmingly of the teachers I've spoken to, their personal attitude is nowhere near as strict as the actual school's attitude.
Yeah. So, but yeah, generally speaking, I just get the impression that more and more people are more active. The media is covering this a bit more. And little by little, it seems like the people in the education boards at least have to confront it, even if they don't immediately have to address it. So, but that's how these things go. Slowly, maybe eventually they improve.
So the important take-away message is, if you wanted to go to junior high in Hamamatsu, make sure you have white underwear.
Yeah, you got it. You got a lot of white underwear. You need a lot. So, anyway, we will be back shortly with a full-length episode. And again, Miyuki is coming back very soon with some very fun episodes. We did some very heavily research-intensive episodes coming up on a variety of topics with our good friend Miyuki too. So, all right. So, thank you, and see you next time.
See you next time.